About an hour south of Guadalajara is a place to pause, reflect, and embrace stillness. It's a threshold where nature, history, and daily life quietly overlap without spectacle, without urgency, without performance. I didn't come to Chapala looking for anything specific. I just kept finding myself there. Last summer, during one of the rainiest seasons in recent memory, this lake filled up to the highest it's been in over a decade. Today, it sits at 75% full of its total capacity. As you look out across its nearly 50-mile length, you don't see a lake, you feel it. Its receptivity, its resilience, its unchanging nature. It quiets the noise in your heart and connects with something deep within you. Chapala doesn't offer answers, just stillness. There are two places high in the hills surrounding Chapala where you can look out over the lake. You climb through rocky terrain or through dense forest paths where the earth feels thick and alive. Stones underfoot hold a kind of permanence, a reminder of stability that doesn't depend on us. Trees rise around you into a canopy that blocks the scorching sun. Standing tall like quiet, watching spirits, their roots anchored through time into the soil. In the early mornings, the climb feels almost ceremonial. The forest breathes, the air cools. The canopy softens the sun before it ever reaches you. Below, the lake sits still, fog hovering over the surface. This soft veil pulled gently across everything you left behind. The town shrinks. The noise fades. Life becomes something distant. Up here, human life pauses, and in that pause, something else opens. Standing tall near the peaks are crosses reminding you of how long humans have come here, searching for meaning, elevation, connection, a closeness to something larger than themselves. And once you're at the top, you don't do anything. You stop. You breathe. You exist. And those moments stay with you as you descend back through the clouds, over boulders, through forest paths, returning slowly to the world below, changed in ways that are hard to explain, but impossible to forget. Not far from those hills lies San Juan Cosalá, a small town resting right at the edge of Lake Chapala. Here, the temperature rises. After the effort of climbing, this is where the body finally lets go. The hot springs aren't about indulgence. They're about surrender. About setting down the weight you didn't realize you were carrying. Muscles soften, breathing slows, time stretches in ways it never does when you're rushing from place to place. Steam rises off the water. The lake sits quietly in front of you. Voices lower or disappear entirely. Some moments invite conversation. Others ask for silence. These waters have been part of life here long before anyone thought to call them an experience. They reflect a cultural rhythm that values rest as much as work, presence as much as productivity. This isn't about treating ourselves. It's about letting the hard work of the day settle into the body, not escape, stillness. It's a place where the day slows itself down, just water, warmth, breath, and the quiet understanding that nothing else is required of you right now. On the eastern side of Lake Chapala sits Mscala. If Chapala is stillness, Mezcala is memory. We arrived early, before the crowds, watching the sun rise over the fields surrounding the lake. The light feels different here, softer, heavier with history. Mscala holds deep indigenous roots, and unlike places reshaped for visitors, it still feels lived in. The town square hums gently with everyday life. A cathedral anchors the center, not towering, just present. Cobblestone streets lead you down to the water, where boats line the shore, waiting to take people to the island at the center of the lake. Isla del Presidio, Prison Island. Ricky and I stepped onto one of the boats, crossing floating platforms before heading out across the water. As we moved away from the mainland, the lake shifted. Waves rose and fell with surprising force, making it easy to forget that this is a massive body of water that's completely landlocked. The island appears slowly, and even before you arrive, you can feel it. Something layered, something heavy, something alive. It has been many things: a sacred indigenous site, a fortress during Mexico's War of Independence, a brutal prison meant to hold people indefinitely. When we docked, a cat watched us from the shore. Dogs waited patiently, as if they'd been there forever. Our guide was a little girl, climbing confidently over rocks and sandals, leading us through a landscape where nature has reclaimed history. Giant tree roots spilled over stone walls like waterfalls, breaking through structures meant to last centuries. Tinges of modern life can be found in small pastures of the island, and even a former church built of stone still stands strong. But the fort stands prominent and sentinel-like at the top of the hill. As you approach it, the energy shifts. Thick stone walls, a surrounding canal, kitchens abandoned in silence, walkways that overlook the entire lake. This wasn't built to welcome people, it was built to contain them. We took a few moments to play around with the drone and both travel around the island and explore the fort itself. Even diving into the former moat surrounding it. Inside a few of the rooms, bats hang quietly in the darkness, waiting for the night. Outside, former barracks sit boarded up, reminders of lives once held here. Further down the path, past roads lined with nopales, lies a cemetery barely recognizable, time erasing distinctions between the living and the dead. At the end of the road stands the living stone, once used as a prison cell, a permanent reminder of suffering, endurance, and survival. Bats fly overhead as the lake stretches endlessly beyond it all. This doesn't feel like a museum. It feels like stepping into a moment that never fully ended. We made our way back up the hill, passing the former rebel quarters along the way, a stone echo into the present day of the struggles Mexicans faced to arrive at the present. As we rode back toward Mezcala, the chapel growing larger in the distance, the town came back into view. Surrounded by water, land, and history, it leaves you in quiet awe. You can't tell the story of Lake Chapala without returning to the town that carries its name. Known as the little corner of love, Chapala is alive in a different way. The malecón stretches along the water, full of movement, laughter, families, fishermen, children playing, couples walking hand in hand. After the rains, the lake breathes again. There are skate parks, grassy areas, workout stations, fountains honoring the fishermen whose lives shaped this place. The cathedral rises near the water, visible throughout the town, steady and familiar. Nearby stands a monument to the Niños Héroes, 6 young cadets who died defending Chapultepec Castle in 1847. History here isn't hidden, it's woven into daily life. The boardwalk extends into the lake in 2 places. One, perfect for photos, offers sweeping views of the water. The other feels more social, a gathering place where locals and visitors alike share space easily. We ate grilled fish, simple and perfect, letting the day settle. Our final stop was the Centro Cultural González Gallo, a former train station transformed into a space for art, memory, and reflection. Once a vital link between Guadalajara and Chapala, it now holds exhibitions of modern and contemporary art, alongside an archaeological museum tracing the history of the lake and the people who lived here long before us. It felt symbolic. Chapala holds nature and history, a balance between being present and looking into the past. A Mexico honoring its roots and its peace. A reminder that even close to the city, even surrounded by movement, there are places that ask us to slow down, to listen, to remember what it feels like to simply be. This is Pato's Path, an adventure in movement, calm, and remembering to enjoy the world around us. If this story caught your interest, hit like, tap subscribe, and follow along to keep walking this journey together. There's so much more out there.